When I tell you to think about Lebanon, if you happen to know where it's located on the map, you probably know it has beautiful deserts, mighty sand, majestic camels, strong coffee, reckless driving, oil and gas production, a Muslim population, huge mosques, constant war and tensions, frequent terrorism, and obviously bearded men that only speak Arabic.
WTF? What the
No, son.
Not exactly. Okay, let me show you. Lebanon is the exact opposite of all you might have thought. It defies all expectations. It will surprise you, it will make you wonder, it will blow your mind. Good morning, legends! So, in a week of time, 4 of my friends are going to be coming and visiting me in Lebanon, the country I live in right now and where I come from. And basically, it's going to be fucking amazing and fucking wild because they have literally no expectations. Stay tuned because we're in for a ride and let's roll. This is Adam, the clueless adventurer. I met him by pure coincidence at a dance party in LA last summer, and since then we've been really close, so I invited him over to Lebanon.
Well, book my flight to Lebanon right now.
Initially, he was supposed to come alone. Initially. We're both filming, we knew it. He's in Lebanon right now, can you imagine this? This is Flo, the spontaneous swashbuckler. I met her in Barcelona 3 months ago during one of the craziest weekends of my life spent with strangers.
Yes, we're friends, awesome.
She decided to come to visit too and surprise Adam a couple of days after his arrival. They had already met online through video calls. Now we're gonna make an incredible surprise. Adam, meet Flo. Holy shit, what the fuck? Today they were both in Lebanon and ready to explore. With vague assumptions of what this country has to offer, they had no idea of what was coming. I can't believe you two are here right now, it's insane. So the adventure started pretty gently. Before Flo came, I took Adam to the capital city of Beirut. Beirut is the city of conflicting constructions, clashing cultures, charismatic cacophony, convivial colors. But above all, I like to call it the city of contrasts. Just look at the architecture, it will tell you enough about the culture and society. Ultra-modern buildings next to others covered in bullets dating back from the Civil War, old Roman ruins right beneath skyscrapers, mosques next to churches, poor neighborhoods next to rich ones. That's the Beirut I always lived in. But on this specific day, Adam saw it differently.
Broken windows and buildings and stuff here. I don't even know what's going on. It's crazy.
He called it the post-apocalyptic city. The vibe he felt was really gloomy. There was no one on the streets during the day. It's a strange time in Lebanon's history. As you may know, there is a revolution in the making, and protests were often organized against the corrupted government as a result of a Ponzi scheme. Indeed, right after dusk, we witnessed the first protest of the trip, which was relatively small, but we would have never guessed that in the following days it was going to get worse and worse. I wanted to switch the vibe to a more positive one, so the next day we went to one of my favorite hikes, Darb al-Sama, which translates to Road of Heaven in Arabic. What we saw at the top truly seemed like paradise. A cloud formation that looked just like the cross, a paraglider in the sky, the sun setting. It was an interesting contrast compared to the day before. And for Flo's first day, we were going south. So we're going to the south of Lebanon, one of the oldest cities in the world. It's called Tir in French or Sour in Arabic. First stop was Saida, where we met a friend of mine. This is Abdallah, the kindest daredevil you'll ever meet. He did every extreme sport you can even dream of.
We're here in Saida today.
He made us visit the famous sea castle built by crusaders in the 13th century. Lebanon has so much history, like so much. My friends had a lot to discover in the next couple of days. And now we're gonna visit the old part of the city, which is over there. The souk of Saida. Souks have the best stuff ever. The scenes, the spices, soaps, smells, smiles, slender street sellers. The place is always full of life. We then came across what is said to be the oldest ruins ever, which were actually discovered pretty recently. They dug everything out because they were constructing this thing. Next stop was Tyre, further down south.
We just went swimming in this ocean. This is life, baby! My feet and my fingers are numb. I feel good. I feel alive.
This cold winter dip made it hard to see the Roman ruins and turtles that we usually can see underwater, but at least we got to find some old pottery.
Pottery that dates from the 1st century. We'll find better.
We found better. This guy started showing us the antique artifacts he collected. And then I asked for each artifact and stuff like, what is this, what is that?
Yeah.
And he would tell us like stories. It comes from a lot of like different empires. To be exact, they come from 7 different empires that used to live or trade here throughout the centuries.
It's Mukhif.
Going back to Beirut, we encountered a problem. There's some people that are coming the other way on our lane. Look at this guy.
went the opposite
Like,
way
what the
all the
fuck?
way.
Protesters that are closing down the roads with like tires that they burn. It's a revolution going on. Do you want to go down on the streets later on? I think we're going to be doing this, honestly. No sooner said than done. Two of my friends drove us to some protests.
Lebanese protests, revolution. There's literally fires going everywhere. There's people burning tires. There's smoke everywhere. People are driving on the wrong side of the road. It's crazy.
Burning. It is the revolution. Hey! Lebanese flag right here.
Yeah, since it was chaos, we decided to climb a billboard sign. Don't ask why. Lebanon is the country of unexpected situations. Anything can happen. So yeah, this bank exploded. Where do I start? So we just like crossed the street and there's a fucking bank that explodes.
We made a turn going this way, and we're like, we saw all these riots and stuff. All of a sudden, I hear a bomb. I see it flash. The bank is on fire. Literally on fire. Jesus Christ.
This night was really heated, so to cool it down a bit, quite literally, we went skiing the next day with another friend of mine.
In the mountains of Lebanon, it's pretty crazy.
For her second time skiing, Flo managed surprisingly well.
And yesterday we were at the beach, it was fucking amazing. And today we're skiing.
We took the lift to go to the highest peak of the region and the view was a fucking painting.
Check out the view. This is Lebanon, right here. Can you imagine?
The next day we decided to keep it chill by going to Beirut and eating my favorite ice cream, with some strangers and old friends. Then we did some urban exploration in old mansions and ruins. Beirut's full of them.
There must have been really nice houses.
We snuck through doors, Diana almost fell through this broken roof, and we started breaking some doors. Someone's breathing. We finished the day by wandering in the streets and eating some crepes. The following day we went to Hanjar in the Bekaa Valley, in an old medieval town. There was literally no one there. It was our playground for the day, just for us. Then we got lost, but we got to meet some locals, and on the way home the roads were blocked, so we stopped to eat amazing Lebanese food.
We're in a restaurant today.
Meanwhile, I felt that the tension in the country was growing, and my friends were noticing it too. But what they didn't notice was that all this time I was preparing another surprise for the next day.
It's rewind time.
Back in November, I met Flo again in London for an epic week where we both met Dina and Yassine. We instantly became friends.
We got along so well together, like a little family.
The thing is that we're both coming the next day to Lebanon. This is Dina, the jolly confident. And this is Yassine, the ultimate shutterbug. And now it was time for surprise number 2.
I think we should just walk in, be casual and be like, hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hey.
And you did the same to Adam before I came.
Yeah.
Now that we were all together in Lebanon, we were finally ready to seize the experience to the fullest, especially because the 4 of them also shared a passion for filmmaking and storytelling. It was gonna be epic.
So today we are in Lebanon!
The destination is the top of a mountain full of snow.
We were going to see the beautiful cedar forest in the Shuf,
Okay.
and Abdullah decided to join. And that's how we started our slow ascent of the misty cedar forest. We were fascinated by cold exposure and physically challenging our bodies, so we decided to do the hike shirtless in the snow. It was gonna be insane.
Oh wow, are we in Lebanon? Or are we in Canada or something? I don't know. Welcome to my office.
We're in the mountains doing a shirtless hike, but we're not abiding by the rules because we don't want to die.
Oh, it's not really useful, but it's good for the mind.
My mind's going through some weird shit.
Snowing us crazy. Oh, this is life! Okay, go! Dude, this is amazing! Woo! Yes! You see, it's all in the mind.
Sometimes it's important to feel alive in the wildest ways. But then, something happened.
So I just fell in the snow, and when you fall in the snow, you just can't feel your body anymore. So I couldn't feel my hands, I couldn't open my bag, anything. And my heart rate started to accelerate, so I just...
Whenever you are like in a position that you don't feel your body or you feel that you're not gonna make it, just put on some clothes.
We're going downhill now.
You're done with the hike.
We went back to the cars, dried off, and headed to eat manouches and finish up the adventure by speaking about heroic survival stories. Next
melding.
We drove to the sea, to the second oldest city in the world, Byblos.
One of the oldest cities in the world, Byblos.
Two of my friends showed us around. From the old Phoenician harbor to the beautiful ruins and the nice people we met, I always wonder how many things happened here throughout the centuries and even the millions of years. Yes, millions. We walked through the old souks to see one of my favorite places in the city, the Fossil Exposition. I met a guy 2 weeks ago. He's like the best guy to find fish fossils in Lebanon, which is one of the best places in the world to find fish fossil. They are 100 million years old, and here you can even see the only octopus fossil ever discovered. How crazy is that? We ended the day with a beautiful sunset on the sea, which is weird to say when you were in the snowstorm the day before. And since the sea and the mountains are only 40 minutes away, destination the snow again. It was my friend's last day in Lebanon, so we wanted to have a bit of wild fun.
Bitch.
Abdallah joined again along with our friend Paul. There was snow literally everywhere, it was insane. First stop was Af'a Cave.
What's up, Logan?
Abdallah decided to go shirtless again. When we looked around, there was waterfalls and waterfalls and waterfalls. It was incredible. It was our playground for the day.
Look at this water, dude. We can jump here.
And then Abdallah went nuts and started swimming everywhere.
Just a quick dip in the ice.
So insane, so wild.
Rob is doing something crazy up there.
Oh, the day just began, just to tell you, just to warn you a bit. We left ready to take on the rest of the day. And then we got stuck in the snow.
It's just too funny. The car is stuck in the snow.
Finally, we headed to the only place in the world with 3 natural bridges that are one on top of the other.
This is insane.
I was excited to show them this last place. It started snowing, and my friends were hypnotized. Man, it was just magical. When I was near the waterfall, I had a realization about how beautiful my country is. And on the way back home, we got stuck in the snow again. This fulfilling day had to end with good food, so my aunt taught us how to cook the classic manouche. While looking at my friends who were gonna leave the next day, I thought about how weird it was that they were all here now, each one from a different background, and I, Rob, had the honor to show them the world I always lived in. They were so happy to see a country that had so much to offer. All this was gonna soon end and remain memories forever. And just like that, the next morning, my friends were gone. During this whole journey of revisiting my country, I tried to perceive Lebanon through the eyes and unspoiled opinions of my foreign friends, and it got me thinking a lot about the current situation of the country. Yes, there is a part of this fun holiday I forgot to mention. It was the 3rd time I joined the protest, and it was also the first thing I did with Yassine after picking him up from the airport.
First hour in Lebanon. This guy is a fucking legend.
We joined 2 of my friends in downtown Beirut. Man, it was dramatic. I saw people getting hit in the face by tear gas, people fainting, breaking everything they could, ambulances, fires, and that same bank getting completely destroyed. It was total chaos. That's what happens when you have a corrupted government and hungry people. We never really witnessed violence at this scale, and it was kind of a shock. This contrast between the beauties and horrors of Lebanon was really striking. The country is at the lowest it has been in my life. I won't go into every detail and complexity of the issues, but to keep it short, I will briefly address my fellow Lebanese. The ongoing revolution is an opportunity like no other to make a change. A slow one maybe, but still a change. In order for this to happen, we need to honestly admit that no matter how right we think current politicians are, or how good their initiatives and ideologies seem to be, the system is a joke and clearly does not work. If we explore the core of the problem, we can see that the political parties could be efficient within their own perspectives and benefits, but in the big picture it clearly never worked because of clashing interests and corruption. And it won't, because the concept of common good is lacking. Plus, a lot of people still base their identity on religion, politics, and ethnicity, which reinforces the sectarian regime we live in, instead of uniting us all despite our differences. We're partly responsible for everything that's happening to our beautiful country. But the even crazier paradox is that what struck my friends the most about Lebanon wasn't the conflicts, the violence, the poverty, or the occasional trash. It was the outstanding kindness of people. And it was shown all along. When we ate crepes, Shadi hosted us with a huge smile and wild jokes. When we wanted to ski, Nicholas drove us to the slopes and patiently taught Flo how to ski. When we were tired after a full day, Abdallah invited us to his favorite sushi place. When we wanted to experience the risky protests, Jean-Claude and Cyprien made it a fun and memorable experience. When we wanted to get lost in the streets of Beirut, we had an epic urban adventure with free-spirited strangers. When we needed a guide in Byblos, Redi and Maria gave us their time and passion, and the same happened in Tyr with Shenana. When we couldn't go back home because of roadblocks and didn't have enough money to pay for our meals, Mahmoud offered them to us and Johnny even gave us free falafels.
One of the nicest people I've ever met in a restaurant.
When we wanted to have more calm conversations after bar hopping, Camille hosted dozens of us in his living room. When we were lost in the Bekaa Valley, Mohammed and his mom hosted us for some tea. When we wanted to learn about music composition, Paul taught us the basics. When we got stuck in the snow in the middle of nowhere, Danielle and his boys came to help us. And obviously my aunt and uncle hosted us for the funniest cooking night when we wanted to learn how to make Lebanese food. I bet you'll never visit a country where strangers and friends will be that generous towards you regardless of their personal situation. I don't claim to have the answers for Lebanon, but I know one thing. When we look at the full picture, Lebanon is such an incredible country with so much potential, and this whole outlook has been masked for years by all the other problems. It's one of the smallest countries in mainland Asia, but has so much history, varied cultures, the best gastronomy, the most insane landscapes, the most surprising contrast, and overall potential. We all know we're more than this, or this. I mean, seriously, this needs to stop. One day it will thrive if each one of us takes full responsibility to be united while maintaining our diversity and have our thoughts and ideologies follow our selfless actions. We have all the assets to come to an understanding. Let's stay open-minded enough to aim for the greater good of our country, and as complex as it may seem, the situation will change, but gradually. This is not one of those movies that ends with a cheesy message about hope. It's a reminder that we're the best people in the world, and each one of us needs to stay hopeful, keep on fighting, and make a change individually before seeing our country grow into the stoic cedar we all stand for.